Hi everyone, it's me, Darlene. I am here with block number 6 for my Quilt Block of the Month series. This is 2024. I'm doing a block of the month that comes out on the 1st of every month. The videos are in either 2 parts or 3 parts. I'm doing 3 parts now. I have a specialty block that will go into the bigger block. So the specialty block is first, the bigger block is second, and then the third part is showing you the big stitch quilting that I did. You're going to want to go get caught up on this series. I have a playlist link in the description of this video and also on the end screen. So go check it out, get caught up. You can do this anytime you want if you're watching in the future. So this is the block for June. I went with a butterfly specialty block, and that's what we're going to do today. I wanted a butterfly that was as simple as possible. I didn't want to do a lot of snowballing because snowballing little pieces, it can be a little, a little bit tricky sometimes. Very easy to make them go crooked, stuff like that. So this is very little snowballing, and it's just going to come together really quick. Is it like the best looking butterfly? I don't think so, but I saw a lot of complicated butterflies that didn't look good. I don't know, they looked more like another bug, not a butterfly. I cannot tell you where this comes from because it's on a blog, and it's one of those deals almost like Pinterest that you click and it takes you to somebody else who was just sharing it, and you click and you never get to the person who actually did this. So let's get started, and I'm just going to show you the pieces that we need for each step. You are going to need, for the butterfly, 4 2.5-inch squares. You do not need to have them be different colors like me. These are the top wings, bottom, and I thought I'd do darker on top, lighter on the bottom. It seems like most butterflies are darker on the top, lighter on the bottom. I don't know. I don't care. You could use anything you want. You could use stripes. You could do whatever. If you have a directional print, then you're going to have to, pay attention to where I put the little 1.5-inch squares that we're going to be using. Also, if you're using all the same print for all 4 and there's no direction to it, then all you have to do is snowball a corner on each of these 2.5-inch squares. But I'm going to show you how to do it if you were to have direction or different colors. So we need the 4 2.5-inch squares, and we need 4 1.5-inch of background. That's all you're going to need for butterfly colors, but you will need more for the background, so make sure you have extra to, go around and things like that. And I'm doing this as though you are looking at it, facing you. You are going to take one of your squares, 1.5-inch squares, and put it here, and the other one goes here. So in the middle on the top. For these guys, you're going to put one here and one here. Like that. Now all we're going to do is sew down here diagonally and then up diagonally. On this side, we're going to do it this way, diagonally this way, diagonally that way. And if you want, you can draw a line with your pencil or whatever in each direction and just sew on that line. Or, if you want, you can sew just to the outside of the line. So if your line is exactly on the diagonal, you can sew just to the side of it here. When I say the outside, I mean this side, the side that would take you off the block. That side would not be the outside. And when you trim that and fold it over, it gives you just that little bit extra of fabric so that you can trim it nice and evenly. It's up to you. I think I'm going to skip the lines because I'm a line skipper. So let me start with these 2 right here, going down, going up. I just edited a little bit, and I don't know if I mentioned that this series comes out on the 1st of the month, every month. And I do have some other series. I have a crochet block of the month that comes out on the 15th of the month. I also have a 12 blocks of Christmas series going on. That one is 2 blocks per month. I started in April, and right now I'm at the end of May. That one will run April through September 2024. So if you're watching after September, you have that whole series there ready for you. That is 2 blocks per month. They're big blocks that go together so quick. They're scrappy. You don't have to use Christmas prints. You might really like to go watch that series. And those come out like around the 8th of the month and maybe again the 22nd of the month. So it goes quilt block of the month, one of the Christmas blocks, crochet block of the month, and then another Christmas block. And then we start all over. I'm keeping you busy. All those series I just mentioned will be linked in the description of this video. Go there and you'll see the playlists. I've decided I'm going to put my line because I want you to see what I mean about sewing just a little bit to the outside. So let's do that at least on this one. And I just use regular pencil. If you do this, don't use a marker or something that runs and is permanent because it could show through. Where's my ruler? My handy dandy ruler that I have had forever. And then hopefully you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. And hopefully I do a good job. I don't think I did a very good job. Because I'm like way off from that diagonal. Way off. But see, can you see my pencil line? I'm hoping you can. And then just to the outside of that pencil line is my stitching line. So the stitching line is closer to the point than the pencil line. And then what we do is we trim. But let me see. I think that's going to work out okay for me. See how it gives extra fabric? So I'm going to be able to trim there and there when it comes time to do that. So let me just do these others, and I'm not going to bother with the line this time. Then we just cut these corners off. You can leave 1/4 of an inch-ish if you want. Mine is certainly smaller, like, you know, I trim like that. I'm trying to get it to focus. And then I'm just going to go press all these little flaps open. So here's how we're going to be putting the butterfly together. For the top, you want your 2 snowballed corners in the center. They're not going to actually be sewn together like that, but I'm just showing you like that. Top, center. For the bottom, the snowballs are going on the outside, still on the top, but to the outside, like that and like that. Now, if I do have that put together, see how that's starting to look like a butterfly, except we need a space there. That's coming. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to sew this together and this together. I'm just going like this and like this. Sewing there and there. This is what we have, starting to look like a butterfly. Now we need a body. I don't know what that part of a butterfly is called. I'm calling it the body. And we're going to need some background. So let me get mine and I will show you what I come up with. Okay, pay attention to this part. You get to decide. I'm going with a 1-inch wide strip. You get to decide how you want that body part of the butterfly to look. Now, it's not going to end up this wide because we have seam allowances. You could have it go all the way to the bottom, but not longer. But you could have it go flush to the bottom. You could have it go flush to where these wings are. Or you could have it stick out a little bit to make like the head. I think I'm going to do that. I don't want it flush to the bottom because I want to see some background between. It's going to separate the wings more, meaning I don't want it like that right to the bottom, although that would be fine. I'm going to have mine more up, and background is going to go there, and I'm going to show you the easy way we're going to do that. So I measured, I kind of wanted like from here to here. That's 3 inches. I need a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance on each side. So that's 3 inches plus a 1/4 plus a 1/4 is 3.5. So I need 3.5 inches, and that's what I did. I cut my strip 3.5 inches this way, 1 inch wide, and I didn't want solid black. I didn't want it to compete with the border, and I found my wood grain. I absolutely love this for the body of that butterfly. Okay, now I'm just gonna like kind of lay this here. Now I have a strip of background, 1 inch. You actually need 2 pieces. I'm going to cut this in half, and that's going to give me enough. Let me fold this. There's enough there, and there's enough there. So I'm just cutting this in half. Now I'm going to sew these 2 background pieces to the body, like this and this. Now we get to play with this and see. I could move it up a little bit. That's why you want enough background sticking out. I could move it up, I could move it down. If I wanted it to be flush, well, I can't do that now because I wouldn't have enough of the background. So maybe like this. I kind of like that. Now what I'm going to do, I see that my line of the butterflies is pretty even. I'm going to fold this in half and make a crease. You could actually even press that if you want. So now when I go sew, I'm going to match this seam to the crease here, and then I'll do the same with the other side. It's just gonna help keep things a little more even, but I promise you it still won't be even. You're still gonna fuck up a little bit, and that's okay. So let me just do this. I'm going to start by putting it here, and I can still see my crease, and I'm putting it right on that seam. I'm going to sew there. And I didn't even get my crease where I wanted it. See, that's how easy it is to fuck up. So let's see now. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? I'm still going to just try to match up this line, this seam with this seam. And I think that looks pretty good. Flip it over. And sew. I'm so scared. All right, I'm off by a little bit, but I think I did a pretty good job. Don't you? I think so. Let me go press this. I could have done better, but I'm good with this. Now you can see that this side is lower than this side. I'm just going to trim along this edge, take a little bit off there, and then I have to do the same on the bottom. Could I take the stitches out and shift that? Yes, I could. Will I? No, I'm not doing that. Doesn't matter exactly what size this comes out to, because you know what I do at the end is I give us a generous border, and it's at that point that we're going to be able to get this block to be the size that we need. So don't worry too much. But I will tell you what this comes out to as soon as I trim, just to give you an idea. This turned out to be 5 wide by 4.5 tall. If you are smaller than that, don't worry about it. If you're much bigger than that, you might want to trim it a little bit just so you come in at the right size at the end. But I want to show you. I don't know how come I felt like having this that long. I should have looked at my practice piece, because my practice piece, I eyeballed it a little shorter, and I like it better shorter. So I'm just going to show it to you. Now, I just was using, all kinds of scraps. But see, that, I like it shorter. I think it looks better than this big long black thing. So I don't know. But I'm going with this because that's what I did. And you can tell that I didn't, give myself a specific thing I had to cut. I just eyeballed it and I went with it, and that's what we have. Now we are going to put background all around. You need some 1-inch strips of your background. We're going to go around this block now. I can tell you when I'm done how long it needs to be, but mine are pretty long because when we do top and bottom, the sides will be even longer. So let me tell you in a minute. For the top and bottom, this is 5 wide. Did I say 5 wide by 4.5 tall is what the butterfly is at? So you need at least a 5-inch strip, but always give yourself extra wiggle room. I don't like to have to match it up. It can get crooked, so I always have more, and then I trim after the fact. Aim for like 6 inches at least for the strip. And I'm going to do top and bottom. Now, if you had like a long 1-inch strip, like you cut across the width of the fabric, just lay that down, and when you get to the end, trim, and then just use that. You don't have to have 4 separate pieces to start with. You can have just one long strip. Pressing those open. This is what I have, and I'm just going to trim those right here with my scissors. Trim off the extra. What is with this guy? Get off. Okay, now I'm going to do the 2 sides. Oh yeah, so this is where I'm going to tell you, okay, this measures like 5.5, so go at least 6, maybe 7. And I'm doing the 2 sides now. And I totally went crooked on the bottom. And I'm just going to go with it. It's going to be wonky. Everything can be wonky. We live in a wonky world. Pressing, trimming. I've been using black for my border. Just the specialty block in each big block has a border. And I've been using 2 inches. Now we should be able to get away with the 2-inch strip. So I'm going to start this time on the sides and then top and bottom. Pressing open. These strips, mine are like 6.5 inches this way. Now I'm going to trim. I'm going to trim on my cutting mat. And now we're going to need, I'd say a 10-inch strip. That'll cover it. Do I have enough with this one? I do. Listen up. We need for this block to be trimmed to 8.5 wide by 8 tall, and we're coming in close here. So I suggest that you cut your border at least 2.25 or even 2.5 inches so you have room to trim. We don't want it to be too small. Hopefully you watch my videos all the way through in case I tell you things like this, but I'm going to let you know. If you already have it and it's under 8.5 by 8, you can always, you could always pick a strip out if you wanted to, or whatever you need to pick out, or you could take another strip. Let's just pretend this is long enough. You wouldn't want to add to the end because then you'd have a seam, probably like where you need to be cutting or very close. You could just take another strip and lay it like down a bit, like maybe cut this one here and then put another strip and sew, and then when you fold over, just make sure you do it in a way that you'd have enough. So mine is 9 wide and I need 8.5. So I'm going to find my center, and then I'm going to trim just 1/4 of an inch off each side, because I have to cut off a 1/2 inch. I'm at 9, I need 8.5. So I need to make it a 1/2 inch smaller. So I will do 1/4 on each side. And for this way, I need 8 inches, and I'm at just like 8.25. So I'm just going to trim a very little bit, and I will make it. I just don't want you to be in a position where you are going to end up too small. So let me do my trimming. I'm at 8.5 by 8. You do not have to make this block if you don't want to. You can just take any piece of fabric or something that you've cut from a panel. It's a good chance to use a big print. Do whatever you want, but you can just cut 8.5 wide by 8 tall, and you'll be able to put that in the block that we're about to make in the next video. Doesn't have to be this butterfly. But I like it. I think it came out cute. And like I said, I got the idea from somebody, but I couldn't get the size pieces and stuff because I never could find the actual instructions. It just kept linking to another person, another person, another person. So I just looked at the image and I just did what I thought I should do. I'm not absolutely thrilled with my crookedness of here, but nobody's gonna know. And do butterflies have things that stick out? I don't know. You can always embroider and, you know, do anything that you feel like doing. I hope you enjoyed this block. I really like the block. It was a little stressful for me because I could not get a butterfly that I thought was simple enough to teach without having to have 100 snowballs, and I don't want things with curves. So I'm going to take a couple of pictures of it. Good luck with your butterfly, and the next video will be up in a day or two. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, and I will be back with more soon. Bye!